everyone, Debbie Cork here. Just wanted to show you the latest project I finished. This is a squash book inspired totally by Caged Fish, who showed me how to make them, and you can check out her videos. She'll show you how to do them beautifully. And also Vicky from Messy Table Studios for more ways than one, not least the cover, who she tried this style of doodling out and totally inspired me to have a go. So I made the belly band for this squash book completely out of the just circles, and I used watercolour paint to colour them in. When I started it, I was colouring the whole lot in, which I quite liked, but as I progressed and was sort of filling them in, I got to the stage where actually I thought I quite like them with just some filled in. So I thought, well, I'll have the front and the back different on the belly band. So this is, as I say, a squash book inspired by a project that Vicky started back in the summer for doing a different doodle a day. I'm not a doodler, but she's very inspiring, so thought I'd have a go. And I used just a black pen, not a well-known make at all, got them from our In Excess, which is a cheap sort of end of range place. And I also used watercolours to fill them in. These two were inspired by a project that Caged Fish was using, I think. They're Cosmic Shimmer watercolours paints. I absolutely love them. I've got several. They come in several different palettes. This one is set 5 greens and purples, and they are lovely. They're lovely to work with, and they have a sort of metallic shimmer to them, which is really nice. So those of you that know squash books will know that they're very they look complicated, but they're actually very easy to do. And this one has a different doodle on each square. This one's going to be quite difficult to show you again. Just pan slowly through. So it's made up of 3. These are actually 5 3/4 inch squares. You can see them like that, just a black card, almost card, very thin card, so that you can fold it. And then you overlap them. So that's 1, 2, and then 3 pieces, I think. It doesn't quite look right, but have a look at Carla's explanation. She'll explain it to you. I started off actually with the other side, which I'll show you. And I was using just sort of 4 or 5 colours to start with. And then I really liked the others that were just sort of sitting there. So as I progressed, I thought I'll widen the colour palette and do a bit more. So there's no particular doodle shape. They're just ones that I like. And they sort of progress. Again, I'll show you. Sorry, I keep flipping it over. But on this side, I got obsessed with circles and lines. So you'll see here they're all circles enclosed with different shaped lines, either wavy, straight. And the other thing I really liked to do was this sort of hatching. So that ended up on several different ones, and in fact it reminded me of when I was doing my index card a day challenge, because I did it in pen and ink, and I remember liking those on there. So the two projects sort of went in together. And the other doodle that I really like, and I saw this one on Pinterest, which is lovely. I just coloured the background in 3 different colours. And then you just draw lots of different lines and then just colour in the corners, if you like, to make them rounded. And I did that one. That's another version of it there, and another version of it there where you actually fill in the centre rather than just the corners. So the possibilities for this are absolutely endless. They do seem to evolve as you're doing them. You just sort of spark onto the next idea. And as I say, I'm no doodler, but it was lovely to do. So I'm just going to go through slowly through the sides. I started off with 26 squares that were about 2 3/4 inches, and then I left 10 of them for this shape hole, and then just cut the other 16 into half. And then you just need to make sure that they go within the fold. So if you can see the folds here, so that when you fold it, the piece doesn't get mixed up in the fold, so it sort of stays flat. So I'm just going to go through slowly so you can have a look at the doodles. I love this form of book. Liked it when I very first saw it, and I've done several now, but this is the first time I've ever done it in using doodles. Really isn't very easy to show you, but you can sort of see them. I hope you can see the metallic shimmer on the paints. It's very subtle, but it's lovely. So they are very simple doodles. There's nothing complicated about any of them. But I really enjoyed doing it. It's surprising how long it took. As I say, Vicky did her project. She did one a day back in, I think it was June. And I tended to do quite a few, and then I sort of went on to other projects, and then I came back to it again. So it was nice to have on the table. When you're doing it, remember that if you want it a particular way up, to remember that the triangles go, I know this is going to sound obvious, but the triangles go that way, so rather than when you're doing them, to do them that way. Most doodles it doesn't really matter, but I did find on a couple that hadn't checked that, and it did look best. So for example, this one probably looks better that way up than it would that way up. But it doesn't really matter. You have to do what you like yourself. But this is a great way to do. What I really liked about this was that it wasn't a great page of the same doodle. So even if you didn't like it, you hadn't invested a lot of time in a little square, sort of 2 3/4 inches square. Sorry, I'm not doing this terribly well. You can see the colours are lovely. They're really nice and don't really look like watercolours. They've got quite a lot of depth into them, I think. I'm hoping this isn't too blurry. Me and videoing don't really go, but you can get an idea of just what the doodles are. Really like that one. Really like the colours on that one. Did the bands of colour I put in first, so you can see I just did triangles along the background, and then I put the other lines in on the top to doodle those. I think that's probably my most favourite one. More circles in lines with wavy lines on them, and again more circles in lines. So there you have it. Lovely idea, as I say, by Caged Fish, who'll show you exactly how to make them. They are very easy. Thank you very much, Vicky, for the inspiration for both the doodles and for the cover belly band. Thanks very much. Bye bye.